So here's a grammar rule that we can take away from this lesson that's going to help most of your writing right now. Welcome back to Fuck Grammar, the YouTube channel that teaches you how to write better for school, work, and general self-confidence. This is episode 2, Verbs and Shit. And today we'll be looking at another one of my favorite fuck sentences. It was fucked. In episode 1, we covered what it means to write a complete sentence. And we learned that a complete sentence only needs 2 words, a noun called a subject and a verb called a predicate. And when we put those 2 things together, we have a complete sentence, and that always feels good. You know that a noun can either be a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. One thing we haven't covered yet, though, is pronouns. Pronouns are words like I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and y'all. Those aren't all the pronouns, but those are some of the pronouns that you may be most familiar with. Let me give an example. I might have a sentence where I might say, I don't know. My mother is coming. What's wrong with you? Mother is the subject. Mother is the noun of that sentence. I can replace mother with a pronoun. I can bring in the word she. She then takes the place of mother. She and mother function as the same thing. They function as the subject of the sentence. Verbs. Verbs can get very complex very fast, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can. Start with the basics. You probably already know that most verbs are actions. To lick is the infinitive tense of the verb. Now you're probably more familiar with some other tenses like past, present, or future, so let me talk about those first. I'm going to get back to infinitive. Past tense of to lick is licked or was licking. There's a number of different past tenses. Present tense. Right now, he licks or he is licking. Or I am licking. Those are all present tense conjugations. Those are present tenses of to lick. Let's go in the future tense. It will lick tomorrow. That's an example of the future tense. Now you notice some of those verbs had more than one word to them. That's pretty typical. Lots of verbs are made up of more than one word. It doesn't matter how many words they are still simply considered the verb. We'll be doing a whole lesson on that sometime shortly. Where do all these verbs come from? It's like they come from the same mother. It's like the same mom had a whole bunch of babies, and she's just like, I am the infinitive tense, and she's like, past tense baby, present tense baby, future tense baby, and there's all sorts of babies in there. There's like conditional tense babies. There's like past perfect babies, there's a present perfect baby, there's all sorts of fucking babies all up in there. The infinitive tense is large. It contains multitudes. And she's very fertile. Every verb has an infinitive tense. And that infinitive tense always has the word to in front of it. So to run, to leave, to return, to go, to come.
Too soon!
So the name for that moving between tenses, moving between an infinitive tense to a past tense or a present tense or a future tense, when we're moving between tenses, that's called conjugation. Now, conjugation is kind of a long word that has tripped up students in the past, so let me break it down for you. Conjugate essentially means at its Latin root to come together. Come together right now. If you've ever been to jail, and you probably have if you're watching this channel, you know that a conjugal visit is when your significant other gets to visit you in jail and you get to conjugate. You get to fuck. So really what I'm saying then is when you conjugate a verb, it would be just as correct to say you're fucking the verb. So let's do a quick review using a different verb. Let's use the infinitive tense of to come. So to come is pretty easy. It's pretty regular verb. Let's fuck to come into three different tenses, three basic tenses that we talked about already. So let's fuck it into the past tense. Let's fuck to come into the present tense, and let's fuck it into the future tense. On the other, let's use three different types of people. I is first person. I went to the store and bought condoms. To would be the second person, or you. So you sold me the condoms. Or third person, that's he, she, it, or they. For instance, they sold me the condoms. So let's conjugate, let's fuck this chart up. So I in the past came. I come. I will come.
Too soon!
You came. You come. You will come.
I fucking doubt it!
Let's do she. She came. She comes. She will come.
I fucking doubt it!
Now, it may surprise you to learn that not all verbs are actions. There is a kind of verb called a linking verb that you use all the time that doesn't really do anything. It just kind of exists. It just kind of lies there and expects someone else to do all the work. So the most common linking verb is the verb to be in its infinitive tense. Let's throw that chart back up there. So usually, for most regular verbs, when we fuck them, they look the same in the past tense, future tense, present tense. At least they're recognizable. You know, came, come, will come. They're pretty much similar. They're clearly related to each other. You know, they all came out of the same place. To be is bizarre. It's like some sort of kinky verb that likes to dress up in disguises and mix it up a little bit. So if I fuck the verb to be into the past tense first person, so let's say I yesterday was. Was is the verb. It is a fucking of the verb to be. Present tense, I am. Am is the verb. Am is a fucking of the verb to be. It doesn't look in any way related to be, but it is the verb to be. Let's look at future tense. I will be. That one looks a little familiar. That one looks a little similar. At least the hair color is the same. Let's look at second person. You were. That's 4 letters long. The original verb is only 2 letters long. Today you are. Tomorrow you will be. Third person. It was. In the present tense, it is, or future tense, tomorrow it will be. To be is a very different beast. All its progeny look very, very different. Let's look at our fuck sentence of the day. It was fucked. To review, you know that pronouns take the place of nouns and that they function as nouns in a sentence, so pronouns can be subjects. You can have it as a subject and that is perfectly fine. You also now know that verbs can be conjugated into different tenses and that one of those tenses is the past tense, and sometimes past tense verbs have 2 words but it's still one verb. So was fucked is the verb. So for instance, my mom might ask me, son, have you fucked your homework yet tonight? And you could be like, Mom, it was fucked yesterday. And that's perfectly correct. But let's, adding fuck to something makes things more fun. But in this case, we don't actually need it. We just had a chart where I showed you that was by itself is a verb. Say someone asks you, hey, how was that party last night? Was it fucked? And you might respond, yes, it was. Period. Done. There's nothing else you need to say. Now, is that the best sentence in the world? No. Is it the most, eloquent sentence in the world? No. But does it have a subject? Yes. Does it have a verb? Yes. Is it a sentence? Yes. So here's a grammar rule that we can take away from this lesson that's going to help most of your writing right now. You can't join 2 sentences with a comma. And a lot of people don't recognize it as a subject or was as a verb. So they'll often write a sentence, put a comma, start the next sentence with it was, and not realize that they've made a mistake. So this is a mistake my students often make. I'd have them write journals. So they'd write a journal and they'd write something like, my mom fucked her new boyfriend last night, comma, it was so loud that it woke me up. That's wrong. You can't put a comma in front of it was. That should be a period. My stepmom tried on her new bikini yesterday, comma. It was so hot that I got a boner. That's wrong. You can't have a comma in front of it was. It was is the beginning of a new sentence, and you can't join two sentences with a comma. So to sum up the lessons of today, number 1, pronouns can be subjects. Verbs are fucked up. Put a period in front of it was. So as usual, the most important thing I think you can do for me is to share this video. Buck the fuck up. People are still gonna love you. I cannot believe how many people like this content. In the last 2 days since I put this first video up, which was fuck off, what is a sentence, I've had over 650 people watch it. I've got 50 subscribers. I've got 6 people supporting me on Patreon. I mean, I know these numbers are gonna grow a little bit, but it is so exciting to see how much success that this channel is having in just the first 2 days. So your neighbors may think less of you, but maybe not. I've got 0 thumbs down on this channel so far. I don't even know how that's possible. I want to say in particular a shout out and a thank you to the 6 people who have supported me on Patreon. I know that not everyone is able to do this. I am just amazed that 6 people have. So I just want to say thank you in particular to those 6 especially. So thank you to Molly. Thank you, Ned. Thank you to John. Thank you to Kelly. Thank you, Laura. And thank you, Sherry. I think it's a great start. And maybe we have great things in our future. I can't wait to see where this channel goes and what sort of inappropriate content that we can produce. Thanks for your help. Share with your friends. Like and subscribe. See you soon.